Corruption in local councils has real impacts on New South Wales communities. Corruption can mean that public money goes to private profit instead of improving community services like parks, roads and libraries. Hello, I'm Commissioner Murrell from the New South Wales Independent Commission Against Corruption, speaking to you from Gadigal land. Today we make public our Operation Mantis report into corrupt conduct at Canterbury-Bankstown Council. We found that between 2020 and 2022, a senior council employee, Benjamin Webb, the manager of council's Works and Projects unit, and his close friend Pietro Cossu, who also worked in the Works and Projects unit, engaged in serious corrupt conduct. Mr. Webb had significant financial delegations and a wide discretion to hire contingent workers to his unit. Nevertheless, when he himself was hired, Council failed to identify that Mr. Webb had lied about his qualifications for the position and was bankrupt. Mr. Webb took it upon himself to hire Mr. Cossu without disclosing the close friendship. While both were working at Council, Mr. Webb and Mr. Cossu ran a recruitment scheme. Through Mr. Cossu's company, PMLV, contingent workers were hired to work in Mr. Webb's unit. Council believed that it was getting the workers from reputable recruitment agencies. Instead, they were being funnelled through PMLV. PMLV recruited workers, paid them low hourly rates, and in many cases retained more money than the workers themselves received. PMLV's profits went to Mr. Webb and Mr. Cossu. While he worked at Council, Mr. Webb received over $200,000 in corrupt payments from PMLV for the recruitment scheme. Mr. Webb had complete autonomy over recruiting contingent workers to his unit. Council did not know enough about its own contingent workforce to identify red flags. Council certainly didn't know that Mr. Webb and Mr. Cossu were reaping substantial profits by recruiting contingent workers. Needless to say, Mr. Webb breached Council's code of conduct by failing to declare his earnings from the recruitment scheme and his bankruptcy status. He also failed to declare other things that Mr. Cossu paid for, including legal expenses, rental expenses, and a car that Mr. Cossu provided for Mr. Webb's use. While he worked at Council, Mr. Cossu also operated a second scheme, a procurement scheme, using the company PMLV. In this scheme, he partnered with his friend Jeremy Clark, who set up a company called GWAC. Using his position inside Council, Mr. Cossu helped GWAC to win many council projects, advising Mr. Clark how and what to quote, how to document things to council satisfaction, and connecting him with companies that could do the work if GWAC wasn't equipped to do it itself. The largest project was worth millions of dollars. In return, GWAC paid substantial kickbacks to Mr. Cossu or his company PMLV. In the Commission's opinion, consideration should be given to obtaining the advice of the Director of Public Prosecutions regarding prosecution of Mr. Cossu, Mr. Webb and Mr. Clark. Unfortunately, what we saw in Operation Mantis is the sort of corruption we often see at ICAC. We've made recommendations about how to avoid this sort of corruption in the future. Lessons for public authorities include proper screening of prospective employees, understanding your contingent workforce, and developing robust procurement and project management processes to ensure that the public gets value for money. To learn more about Operation Mantis and how to prevent corruption in New South Wales, please visit our website.